Hey, I'm Ace. Welcome to Game Design Doc, a series where I showcase game design projects I've worked so hard on. This game I'm discussing today is a special entry in the series. It is a game that's been in the works for a long time. Every Friday night, while the world hits play on another movie night, we press pause and step into something else entirely. An ancient woodland arena few have seen. For years, we've kept it to ourselves. A homemade game passed around like folklore, a quiet ritual, a secret. But today, for the first time, I'm letting someone new in. Welcome to Treefall, where strategy and instinct collide in a hidden realm beneath the canopy. It's part strategy, part whimsy, and completely unlike anything you've ever played before. Think chess, but if the pawns had wings, magic, or frog legs. We've had some legendary matches. My friend held a 3 weeks undefeated streak with her queen bee and sprite combo until my other friend cracked it wide open with a squirrel based defense no one saw coming. This isn't just a game, it's a world we've built, piece by piece, over late nights and early mornings. What you're seeing here is just a prototype, stitched together with wooden tiles and passion, but believe me, it could be more. And now, you're part of it. You know the name, you know the secrets. Just be careful who you share them with. The forest has ears. Now, let me show you how to play. The goal of the game isn't to eliminate opponents, although it can be. It is to score points by having one of your characters jump into an opponent's scoring area on the board. When starting the game, each player chooses 3 characters from the available cast and places them anywhere in their home base on the board. These characters each have a set of abilities that make them unique to play. Each character can use 3 actions during its player's turn, and all characters can be activated in any order during that player's turn. Each character has a passive, which is an ability that alters the way they interact with the board or with the other character. Each character also has a base mobility allowance, indicating how they move on the board. And they have an attack, which is used to knock opponent characters off of the board. Because this game doesn't work like a regular hero-based strategy game. There's no health or hit points, only displacement effects and lots of narrow branches where characters can easily be pushed off. The way you eliminate your opponents is by moving them off the branches of the tree where the game is taking place. In addition to these base traits, characters also have an ability, an action that can only be performed once per character per turn. This ability is usually more impactful and involves more tactical thinking, but not as much as a character's last action, its ultimate. A character's ultimate can only be used if a character has collected 3 stars. A character collects a star at the end of its turn if it hasn't been eliminated this turn. A character can only collect a maximum of 3 stars and will lose them all when using their ultimate. These stars are also lost if a character is eliminated. In addition, when a character is eliminated, it spends an entire turn finding its way back up the tree to rejoin the game, being able to play at the start of its player's next turn. The team going second gets a bonus. All of their characters start the game with a star, as if they had been active on the board 1 turn before the game began. When a character scores by moving into a space in its opponent's scoring area, it reappears immediately in its team's home base and can be played normally the next turn. During the first 10 turns, each team attempts to score on the opponent's scoring area. However, after the end of the 10th turn, if both teams have the same score, characters are no longer allowed to rejoin the game once eliminated. The team that scores the first point, or with the last standing character, wins this overtime period. For the sake of this video, I will briefly describe 2 of the characters available in the game, Squirrel and Sprite. Squirrel is a skirmisher, a character with a ranged projectile attack that can defend areas from a distance. Using its passive, Squirrel can move 1 space after using its attack action, allowing it to kite other characters easily. Its movement is simple, moving up to 2 spaces per action, but limited to walking on the branches of the tree. Its ability allows Squirrel to leap over a gap in the branches once per turn. And its ultimate is another projectile, but it pushes back an opponent hit by the number of spaces the projectile traveled before hitting its target. In comparison, Sprite is a striker, a character whose whole purpose is to breach through the opponent's defenses and score a goal. Sprite's attack is not ranged. Instead, it hits an adjacent opponent and simply pushes the target by 1 space backwards. When using its ability and/or its ultimate, however, Sprite's passive enhances its attack with sparkles, which increases the power of its attack. This results in a stronger hit, pushing back the opponent by an additional space or two if both the ability and the ultimate are used during the same turn. Sprite's mobility is identical to Squirrel's. Move 2 space for each action, sticking to the branches. However, its ability allows Sprite to instantly teleport to any space up to 3 spaces away in any direction. Similarly, Sprite's ultimate allows it to switch places with any other characters up to 3 spaces away on the board. Both of these characters are simple and relatively similar, but other characters can use shields, push opponents in zones, and even control other minions to do their bidding. For example, Queen Bee. Queen Bee is a commander, a character that creates minions or other tokens with its ability and makes them move and attack using its own attack action. Additionally, Queen Bee and her minions can fly, meaning that they can move over the void, which are the empty black spaces on the board. However, while over the void, flying characters are eliminated instantly if hit by another character, even if that hit would have pushed them on a space representing one of the tree's branches. The combo I was referring to earlier uses Queen Bee's flying minions as targets of Sprite's ultimate, making it possible for Sprite to reposition in the perfect hard-to-reach spot to avoid opponents and score a cheeky point. However, one of my buddies found a counter strategy to this combo by placing skirmishers like Squirrel in the right defensive spot, keeping the minions at bay with Squirrel's range attacks. This is one of many more meta moments that emerges naturally from having such an asymmetrical skill-based game. I took heavy inspiration from the metagame of League of Legends. At its best, League rewarding moments feel great. Outplaying your opponents by reading their moves, managing to play the long game, and coming back from a disadvantageous situation. These are all competitive dopamine hits that can be emulated in tabletop. The advantage of playing tabletop games that reward this type of play is that there doesn't need to be teammates involved. Usually strangers, most of the time, which friction and toxicity can arise. I like to think of Treefall as a combination of League and chess, a competitive, character-based strategy tabletop game, all bundled up in relatively short games as respawns are removed after the 10th turn. This leads to quick games where you're encouraged to try new strategies or to refine potential meta strategies with characters that you particularly like. And the replayability is endless. With only 11 characters currently, there's over 990 different combinations of 3 characters, all leading to unique game experiences and potential game-winning strategies. Try it out! I've linked a print-and-play version of the game below. It's not as clean as this prototype, but it's all you'll need to play the game. I've also linked a print-and-play version of Treefall Lite, a simplified version of the game that removes character passives, ultimates, and the collection of stars for a less complex experience. I've played this version with my mother more than once, and she's not typically a board game player. The reduced complexity makes for a more casual experience, with less layers of strategy, yet still very enjoyable nonetheless. If this video is well received, I will consider expanding this series, as well as explaining more of the intricate details of this game and the design thinking behind its system. I might even consider holding a Kickstarter to share a cleaner, better product than just a print and play. But for now, this is all I have to share with you guys. Remember to show this game to people you think would like it. It's your secret to share now. See you in the next video. Bye.